Hey everybody, Rosematter here, and welcome to part 26 of my Umineko Let's Play. In the last episode, we learned more about Rose's history with Beatrice and how Beatrice came to be. A little bit of an interesting backstory on, like, you know, Kinzo and her and Rosa and how all that stuff happens. And I apologize, I know I ended last episode on a little bit of a cliffhanger with the servants and Kinzo being selected as the sacrifices for the first Twilight. And Kanon is about to fight one of the sisters in order to not be chosen and to choose who he wants to go to the Golden Land. So we're about to see that fight happen, so let's get right back into it and let's see how that goes. I don't have a lot of hope for Kanon, but he's stronger than Beatrice thought he was, so maybe. Then again, he was only fighting the demon goats before, which I feel like are like her low-level minions. I bet Balor's just as confused as I am watching this every time it happens. He's like, I don't even know how to explain this. How can I justify this as not being something supernatural? Exactly.
魔法バトルなんて認めてたまるかよ。
ほらほら、目をつむらずにちゃんと見ろよ。ほらほら、ほらほら、魔法だよ、家具だよ。そなたがどんなにわらわや魔法の存在を否定しようとも、ほらほら、ほらほらほらほら。こうして目の前でブオンブオンカキンカキンやられちゃ台無しだよな。ほらほらほらほら、もう思考なんて止めちまえよ。魔法はあるんだって。これはファンタジーなんだって。目を閉じるなよ。しっかり見ろよ。ほらほらほらほらほら。
畜生、畜生、畜生、畜生。魔性を認めない、魔法を認めない。でもこんなにあからさまにやられちまったらなんだっていやいいんだ。クソクソクソクソ。
ほーら、目を背けるなよ。しっかり見ろよ。魔法はあるんだよ。ファンタジーなんだよ。推理ごっことかやめちまえよ。知ってんだよ。ものを考えんの本当は苦手なんだろう。やめちまえやめちまえ。ほらほら、どうせファンタジー、どうせファンタジー。
Feels like she's mocking me as well. But like, it's obviously fantasy.
うるせえうるせえ。俺に話しかけるんじゃね
え。こいつ意地になっちゃって。私になら勝てるなんて思い上がりをしたことを今すぐ床に這いつくばって謝ってごらんなさい。そうしたら特別に許してあげてもいいわよ。生きながら生皮を剥がして絶命するまで全身を鞭打ってのたうち回らすのを。可愛い子なんだから謝っちゃいなさいよ。そうしたらあなただけは最高に素敵な気分の中で優しく優しく行かせてあげる。
黙れ、魔女の家具。お前と問答するつもりはない。
私なんか眼中にないというのね。気に入らないわ。畏怖を感じないその目、本当に気に入らないわ。
はあ。
カノン君、
あやつサタンの時よりも筋がいいではないか。
だから人間は恐ろしいのです。
Oh wait, he did fight. That's right, he did fight one of the other sisters, didn't he? He beat the goat, but he died to her.
たまに魔女にまでなり悪魔を羊扱い
I
にし
wonder
たり
if
い
with
たしま
each
すよ。
reset, maybe Kanon gets a little bit stronger each time? I don't know.
わらわはどちらを応援すればよいというのか。
こいつ私と互角に渡り合うというの？
僕を見くびるな。お前にそのおごりがある限り僕には決して勝てない。
私がこの煉獄の七姉妹が長女ルシファーを指して
So they say that they're
決して勝てないと？
so they say that they're the seven sisters of purgatory, seven deadly sins. Is her sin pride? Is that her thing, and that's her downfall, and that's what might get her killed?
こんな思い上がりが
Oh wow, he did it. Kanon was desperately trying to stay alive, and he had the strong desire to become human. But Lucifer didn't feel anything stronger than a slight desire to play. So it's the thing, it's like he's got more to fight for, so he's really giving his all. So that reached its inevitable result. The ability to yield such a result is the power of humans. Oh, yeah, the power of the heart. Yeah, Kanon is human.
これまでだ。
Sort of. Now let's see if Beatrice actually holds up her end of the bargain.
お前は僕に決して勝てない。
A glowing red trail extended straight out from Kanon's arm. But until she's actually down, I'm not going to say anything. Something could happen. Maybe Beatrice will step in and you know, at the last minute intervene. Pointing at Lucifer's throat just beneath the tip of her chin.
何よこれ。この私がこんなの何かの間違いよ。
As she ground her teeth in irritation, she tried to deny the reality right before her eyes. But no matter how much she believed in her own superiority, it didn't change the facts right before her eyes.
ほう、やるなカノン。見事だ。わらわを退屈させなかった。それに比べ、わらわの家具のなんと情けないことか。
ルシファー、お嬢様を退屈させていますよ。やはりあなたには荷が勝ちすぎた相手でしたか？
失望するぞ、七食いの長女。
Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to cut off her laugh. That would have seemed like nothing more than a simple rebuke to an outsider. However, furniture serving the witch knew what kind of severe treatment was promised by that rebuke, and understood what had been left unsaid.
この出来損ない家具が。
She howled. Abandoning her last bit of pride, she made her body explode, exposing her true form. That form was a demon stake which bounced and deflected off the walls all over the room.
よくも私にここまで恥をかかせたな。殺す殺す殺す殺せ。このぬるまが私の姿をもはや追うこともできないくせに。もう遊ばないよ。本気で怒ったわよ。お前の心臓を一撃で貫いてやるよ。ぶっすりざっくり貫いて真っ赤な血の噴水を天井にまで届かせてやるよ。死ねー。カノン君。
Really? Really? Did she get Kanon? Kanon should just finished her off, man. With a speed exceeding even the limits that the human eye could follow, Lucifer went wild and flew at Kanon's heart. Lucifer confirmed the sweet taste she could feel was definitely Kanon's blood. You had her, man! You had her! But she quickly noticed. Oh no. Did Shannon step in front? She hadn't pierced Kanon's heart. Oh, what happened? What happened?
これだから人間は恐ろしい。
What happened?
紅
What
茶
happened?
はいかがですかな？
今はよい。紅茶もいらぬほどに面白い。
カノン君。
Oh no.
おごったな。だからお前は僕に勝てないんだ。
The floor was stained with dripping blood. It really was Kanon's blood, but it wasn't flowing out of his chest. Oh, Kanon had sacrificed his own left hand to protect his heart. Well, okay. Is he gonna get like a wicked cool, like, metal arm or something? Metal hand? Lucifer was arrogant, even though she had been given enough time to realize that this was an opponent capable of cornering her. Even so, in her pride, she believed he was a worthless opponent. She had gotten careless. So just as she had announced, she had aimed for his chest, trying to pierce his heart. So she gave away her like, exactly where she was going. Because she was arrogant, she hadn't even thought of aiming for somewhere other than the place she had announced. No, maybe she had thought about it a little. However, her pride would not allow her to aim for a different spot, because she was Lucifer the Proud. Yep. Kanon, withstanding the pain, grasped the demon stake sticking deep into his left hand strongly with his right, and pulled it out. Oh, the sound of breaking bones and even more blood dripping down could be heard. Shannon instinctively averted her eyes. There was an air hole in the back of the pierced hand so big you could clearly see through to the other side. Kanon's face was filled with agony, but in this very moment, he had won without a doubt. The demon stake he was gripping with his right hand turned back into Lucifer again. Kanon was now gripping exactly where her neck was.
僕の勝ちだ、ベアトリーチェ。
Kanon didn't hold back with the hand gripping Lucifer's throat. She had challenged him again after their fight had already been decided. Kanon had no obligation to be considerate. But even so, Kanon released the witch's furniture. Was it his naive humanism, his pity for another piece of furniture, or a final show of respect to the witch? In any case, when she was released, Lucifer fell face down on the ground and made as if to vomit, moaning over the pain in her throat.
お見事ですよ、カノン。あなたの奮闘により金蔵の研究の正しさが一つ実証されました。
Ronove was clapping his hands. To Kanon, who had achieved a difficult victory, incurring a wound on his left hand that couldn't be closed, that applause seemed nothing but shallow. He's just like mocking like, oh, you got hands that work? Good for you.
人の心はあらゆる可能性を秘めるか。いやはやこれだから人間は恐ろしい。あっぱれであるぞカノン。そなたは勝利した。見事だ。
大丈夫カノン君。
Shannon ran up to him and wrapped a handkerchief around his left hand, which was still spraying blood.
見事であるぞカノン。実に見事である。
At least it wasn't the chest this time. It's funny because doesn't he normally get stabbed in the chest, and this time he avoided it.
わらわも少しは番狂わせを期待した。それを裏切らぬとは、そなたは誠に素晴らしき家具であるぞ。見直した。正直見直したぞ。
いや、約束を忘れてはいないだろうな、ベアトリーチェ。
もちろん忘れてはおらぬぞ。魔女も悪魔も非道ではある。だがしかし、契約に限っては、人間など及ばぬほどに高潔だ。
So, I guess it's kind of going to ruin a little bit. Like, if we know Kanon, we know who pretty much are going to survive until the end. So it's like Beatrice said, he's most likely will pick Genji, Shannon, George, and Jessica, and himself.
わらわは保護にはせぬ。そなたが勝利したなら、13人の生贄を逃れることができる5人を自由に決める権利を保証した。
But it'll be interesting because I'm sure he's not going to pick Battler, so Battler will be one of the sacrifices.
ベアトリーチェ様、私はまだ敗れたわけでは。
Beatrice twirled her pipe and heaven and earth turned over just for Lucifer. So as a horribly natural result, she fell onto the ceiling. The ceiling doesn't seem that high to people standing on the floor. However, people who fall on it upside down and head first surely don't feel the same way.
お嬢様、さすがにやりすぎでは。
それもそうであるな。許してやるか。
Beatrice spun her pipe again. Oh, this is making me dizzy. When she did, the magic that had been affecting Lucifer was released. So as a horribly natural result, this time, with extreme legitimacy, she fell back onto the floor.
Beatrice 様、お許しを。
何を怯えておるか。わらはもはや許したぞ。さてカノン、続けようではないか。
何をだ、まさか彼女にとどめを刺せとでも言うつもりなのか。
ああ、違う違う。まだ終わっちゃいないだろうが。
何をだ、はぐらかすな。
わらわは確かにそなたと約束したぞ。わらわの家具、煉獄の七杭を打ち破ったなら。
Oh no. Oh, he has to defeat all of them. Oh, that's sneaky. That's sneaky.
さあさあ、
Oh
おいでな
no.
さい。
Well, so much
煉獄
for
の
that.
七杭、不甲斐なき長女の6人の妹たち。
Oh, that sucks. With shrill laughing, the air split, and gold sprayed everywhere as the remaining 6 of the 7 stakes of Purgatory showed themselves. All the 7 sisters of Purgatory, only one of which Kanon had been able to defeat by sacrificing his left arm, were gathered. By now, Kanon regretted his thoughtlessness in accepting the witch's challenge. He had been foolish to assume a game with a witch would be on an even footing.
ですお姉様、どうして床に這いつくばってるの？
お前たち。だからお姉様はダメなのよ。長女を偉そうに名乗るくせに上っ面だけなのよ。まったくルシファーお姉様一人の集体が私たちへの評価を下げるのよ。恥を知りなさいな、この未熟者が。
カロンくん、すごいすごい。でもいい気にならないことよ。ルシファーお姉様なんて威張ってるだけで姉妹の子じゃ大したことないんだから。
だからルシファー姉は何もしなくていいといつも言っている。お姉様は威張ってだけいればいい。荒事は全て優秀な私たちで片付けるのだから。
お姉様、どうする？私たちはお姉様のプライドを尊重して、そのボロボロの体で再び挑むのを期待して手出しをしないつもりなんだけれど。でもカノン君は強いわよね。今のお姉様じゃもうどうあがいても勝ち目はないわよね。お前たち
やれやれ、いつも賑やかな姉妹たちであるな。今は仲違いをしている場合か。そなたらは7人揃ってこその煉獄の7姉妹であろうが。仲良くしてわらわの仕事を遂行せよ。迅速にな。
ねえルシファーお姉様、私たち妹の力が借りたいなら言ってよ。お姉様の口から助けを求める言葉が聞きたいの。
私はこれ以上苦労する気か。
愚かでひ弱で見苦しくて情けない。この長女のルシファーをどうか妹の皆様お助けくださいって。ねえ聞かせてよ。それを聞かせてくれたら助けてあげる。それでいいわよね、みんな。
お前たち、おのれ。
The 7 sisters of Purgatory taunted their elder sister, calling her worthless, verbally abusing her. Even Kanon, who had been fighting her for his life until a second ago, couldn't bear to look straight at it.
私がそのようなことを口にできるものか。
早くせよ。どうせお前一人では拉致が開かぬわ。早く七姉妹にてカノンを撃て。
そら、どうしましたかルシファー。お嬢様の命令ですよ。
ひどい。
Shannon, do you realize what's about to happen to Kanon? I guess she does. She's already accepted her death, and she's accepted that Kanon's gonna die too. Lucifer ground her teeth over and over, hurled curses at her sisters, and then, as she trembled all over, she answered her sister's request.
愚かでひ弱で見苦しくて情けない情けないこの長女ルシファーをどうか
She was finally unable to endure saying those degrading words, and the girl bearing the name of Pride broke down crying. However, the 6 younger sisters kept giggling cold-heartedly. Be nice if Kanon had the power to just take them all down right there while they're mocking the sister. I know this is just delaying the inevitable. Like, Kanon's gonna die. There's no way he's gonna take on all of them. But, it's just like... It's just so cruel to stretch it out.
もう十分だろう。さあ姉妹たち、我らの力を見せてやろう。
私は全部聞かなきゃ満足しないわよ。ほらほらお姉様、続けてよ。もう十分よ。さあ、この屈辱は姉妹全員の屈辱。生かして返しはしないわよ。さて、哀れな家具をどのように遊んでやろうかしら。素敵な提案はある？
はい。ベルゼは仲良く7人でカノン君を分けっこしたらいいと思います。
良い提案だな。それでなら姉妹でみんな仲良しだ。
なら私頭部ね。手足はあんたらにあげるわ。やだダメ。私が頭なの。そんな約束意味があるわけないでしょ。早い者勝ちに決まってるわ。
どんな殺され方がいいかカノン君の提案があったら教えてね。7姉妹でとびっきりの殺し方をしてあげる。
くそ。ここまで恥をかかせたんだもの。八つ咲きでも足りない。百咲きにしてくれる。行くよお前たち。
Alright, here we go. The 7 of them burst at once. They had no desire to play or boast. This time, they would genuinely follow their master's order. Slay Kanon swiftly. I guess, like, do it quick and make it, you know, hopefully not too terrible for him and don't drag it out like they do with Battler. 7 sisters jumped around the room faster than the eye could see, deciding how they would kill Kanon. They tortured Kanon with their cruel giggles, sometimes making a close pass at him. They kept scraping his arms, shoulders, and cheeks, carving red lines into his body. At that time, Shannon dashed up behind him, holding onto him so she blocked the way to his body at least a little. Oh, Shannon. Oh, boy, she's going against it. She couldn't help herself. She said that she was ready to die, but she still has a little bit of human left in her, right? She doesn't want to see Kanon die or suffer. At the same time, a red cylinder wrapped around the 2 of them like a beam of light sent from heaven. That cylinder repelled the evil ones who tormented Kanon, and Beatrice is going to be so happy, being like, oh, I knew there was something in Shen. She wasn't going to fully accept her death. I doubt even as strong as Shannon is that her and Kanon together is going to be able to kill 7 of them.
あんたは関係ないでしょ。
きっとこれはあれよ。 私たちと一緒に遊びたいのよ。
なら私がもらうわ。いっただき。ベアトリーチェ様、シャノンを私たちの獲物にしても？
ああ、構わんぞ、好きにしろ。お前たちの悪時期にはカノン一人では足らなかろうしな。
ありがたき幸せ。さあ、シャシャリ出てきたことを後悔させてやろう。
どっちがどっちかわからないくらいの肉片にして混ぜて混ぜてミンチにしてハンバーグにしてあげる。
バカね。それよりあの結界を破る方が先でしょうが。食い意地より先に仕事しなさい。
はい、お姉さん。
As a horribly natural first action, the Seven Sisters began to destroy the barrier Shannon had created. Shannon's barrier certainly was extremely strong. It was enough power to impress even Beatrice. It was strong enough that frail furniture would turn to dust just by touching it, and it was firm like a tree with deep roots. But no matter how big a tree gets, it will eventually surrender to a saw or a hatchet. For the Seven Sisters, chopping down Shannon's barrier while it was a pain was not impossible. The sound, like beetles jumping around, grew even more fierce and filled the room. They cut up and steadily eroded away that red barrier, as though with a hatchet, a saw, no, a chainsaw by now. And somehow I doubt that, oh god, what's his name? The other Genji. I doubt Genji's gonna jump in and help them. I want to see Genji's power, but I doubt he's ever gonna use it, because he does what the master wants unless the master tells him, I want you to use your powers. I don't think we're ever really gonna see them.
君の結界ではその子たちを防ぎきれないことは知っていたでしょうに。なぜ？
見過ごせないからです。
Shannon spoke back resolutely as she covered Kanon, who was already spent of all his energy and sprawled on the floor.
シャシャリでなければ眠るような死を与えてやったのに、なぜわざわざ七姉妹の前に身をさらすのか。死は同じではないぞ。苛烈な死は死してなお苛むぞ。
どうぞお好きなように。あなたがしたいことを好きにするように、私もしたいことを好きにしたまでです。
I love that Shannon still keeps that, that fierceness, but that quiet fierceness. She's, when she does something, she's like, I'm not going to regret what I've done.
どうにもそなたはこのところ面白みに欠けるな。恋というやつは達するかどうかのあたりが一番面白い。達してしまった後の女はさながら産卵を終えた鮭のごとしか。そなたにはもう飽きた。
ありがとう。魔女から聞ける言葉で最も嬉しい言葉です。
ならせめて最後にわらを思いっきり喜ばせる死に方をしてみせろよ。七姉妹を聞こえたな。シャノンの殺し方、お前たちの残虐の限りを見せてみよ。
シャノン、
申し訳ございません。やはり私には源氏様の高みには至れませんでした。
姉さんはバカだ。僕なんか放っておけば姉さんまでひどい目に遭うことは。
いいの。ジョージ様に指輪をもらって女として生きられた。あなたをかばって姉として生きられた私のせいはすべてこれで未練なく全うした。
イライラするぜ。
Man, she really knows how to set Beatrice off.
その達観が本当にイラつくぜ。
It's one of the few times where you see her kind of like remove the mask of just like casualness a little bit, and she just really gets irritated by Shannon, because Shannon, like, she got everything she wanted, and I think that, like, Beatrice can never really truly be happy, and I think that pisses her off a little bit.
だから家具なんだよ。お前からは人間の匂いがしねえんだよ。
And who knows, maybe it's because Beatrice never really found love. Like, her relationship with Kinzo was so messed up, and maybe she's a little jealous of Shannon.
わらわを見ろよ。わらわこそ人間だろうが。家具のくせに。わらわよりも完成されたかのような、達観したかのようなことを言うんじゃねえ。
醜い。その未練が。あなたの
Yeah, there we
正体
go. She does have some regret there.
未練じゃねえ。それが生きるってもんだ。
Is it that Beatrice secretly wants to be a human again? Maybe and be able to feel love? Because she keeps going on about how love is the one thing about like that humans have.
指輪もらったから死んでもいいとか。ああ、理解できねえ。さっぱりがっかり愕然呆然。全然ダメだぜ。
I love that she's using Battler's his quote now. She's been hanging around him too much.
少し品がないかと。
うるさいわ家具が。シャノン、楽に死なせてもらえると思うなよ。舌を噛むなら今のうちだ。
哀れね。もしも私の目にあなたのその姿が映って、そのが醜さにおののくといい。
Oh, Shannon dropping truth bombs.
安心しろよ。てめえはそれよりさらにめちゃくちゃぐちゃぐちゃに生きながら醜く潰してやるからよ。
Oh, at that time, Genji softly entered the red barrier. Oh my god, is Genji actually gonna do something? Maybe that barrier didn't block those without ill intent. Then Genji softly held Shannon from behind and covered her eyes with his right hand. What?
源氏様。
What are you doing, Genji?
十分だ。
Is he gonna kill her? Is he gonna, like, give her a quick death?
先に休み。
Oh. Oh, he is too.
はい。ありがとうございます。
Well, interesting. After that, Genji softly pressed his left hand against the area around her collarbone. As he did, from the area where that left hand pressed, a crimson stain gently spread out. Wow, so he's got the ability to just kill people with a touch. Damn, okay. Oh, and Beatrice is not going to be happy about that, because he stole her kill. When Genji removed his hand, bright red fresh blood oozed out of there. For just the very first instant, it appeared to be shaped like a crimson rose. And when he removed the right hand that covered Shannon's eyes, there was a peaceful expression on her face as though she was sleeping. Are you going to do that for Kanon as well? And she fell softly, silently down, and slept. Huh. Her soul had already been sent to a world where the malicious witch and her furniture could never reach her, no matter how evilly they tortured her. Okay, so we're finding out Genji's power here. Would have been nice if he could have done that for her before. And Kanon as well. Beatrice and the seven sisters were shocked by this scene. Only Ronave had a mysterious expression along with his smile. And Genji leaned over Kanon, who was crouching on the floor.
よく頑張った。お前ももう休むといい。
はい、ありがとうございます。ケンジ様。
And he's going against Beatrice's orders too, because she said she wanted to be the one to kill Shannon and Kanon. Just as he had done with Shannon, after gently covering Kanon's eyes with his hand, Genji gently covered the area around Kanon's collarbone with his other hand. And when that was removed with the lightness of a feather, there was a crimson rose shape. So they don't get to be human, but at least they don't get to be tortured in the afterlife. But that rose shape quickly turned into the stain of bright red blood pouring out.
何よそれ。つまらぬやつ。生命の風船は針にてつき、威勢よく割るから面白いのだろうが。
見事です、源氏。それでこそ家具です。
ありがとうございます。それではベアトリーチェ様、ロノウェ様、
これをもって私の最後のお務めとしおいとまをさせていただきます。
わらわの楽しみを勝手に奪いおって、この二人をギッタギタのぐっちゃぐちゃにしたかった分、そなたがそれを変わるのであろうな。
I wonder if he can do that to himself. Probably not. Beatrice faced him with an unsatisfied expression, but Ronove spoke quietly to Genji with a soothing smile.
ご苦労でした。あなたは私の最高のしもべです。これまでの労をねぎらうに値する安らかな眠りを。
Okay, so Ronove is furniture to Beatrice, but Genji is Ronove's furniture.
おい、勝手な真似を。
When Ronove snapped his fingers, as if Genji was a puppet that had crumpled from its strings being cut, suddenly, and yet gently, he fell sprawled on the floor into a sleep that witches couldn't call him back from. Like, I know Ronove's very powerful, and he said that himself, like he's still a demon. But, okay, so that's kind of the best case scenario we could have asked for. Yeah, they're dead, but they went gently and softly and peacefully. That was as filled with kindness as the sleep he had given Shannon and Kanon.
なんだよ、ロノウェイ。拍子抜けでつまらぬぞ。
お嬢様は偉大なる大魔女ではございませんか。この程度気に留めるほどにもございませんよ。シャノンごときの挑発で頭に血を上らせるなどらしくもない。
That's happened twice already. What was there that Beatrice didn't like? Was she still unable to remove the thorn of Shannon's words? Ronove laughed lightly, as though lamenting the complexity of the human and the female heart, and ordered the seven sisters to go. After all, there were still 2 sacrifices left for the first twilight. Oh, that's right. That's right. Who's it going to be? The seven sisters... Oh, that's right. Derp. It's Kumasawa and Goda. The seven sisters cavorted as they disappeared. They will not be going so peacefully, I imagine. It's sad, like, I know the last episode focused, the last chapter focused very heavily on the servants, and then this one's on the siblings, which I don't mind, but, like, the servants are basically just here to be killed off. Like, that's the only time we focus on them. Goda was doing the nighttime rounds. There had never been anything on Rokunjima outside the Ushiromiya family, so checking that the doors and windows were all closed had no real purpose. However, ever since Natsui had scolded them, saying that this was careless, the nighttime rounds had become part of the servants' daily routine. The reason that Natsui had ordered this was the occasional disturbances of the witch. Everyone who visited this island knew about the legend of Beatrice, the witch of the forest. This had become established as this island's characteristic ghost story. Because of that, it was only natural that some people would occasionally say that, when they thought that they were alone in the mansion, they had heard strange sounds or seen the shadow of a person. However, when that had created a little bit too big of a disturbance and reached Natsui's ears, she had made a fuss, thinking that some suspicious person might have been coming in and out. Apparently, it was said she had roused all the servants and had them checked throughout the mansion. Because of all this uproar over the witch had happened before Goda had come, he had only heard about it from the more senior servants. Ghost stories like that could be found in any workplace. Even at the hotel Goda had once worked at, and at the restaurant. There was never a shortage of those types of story. So when he heard that story on this island, he smiled bitterly, thinking, so they have that kind of thing here after all. He smiled bitterly, but he thought, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, and had not slighted that. Goda went along with it on the outside, but in his heart, he thought it was a childish trick. At first.
これは確かに不気味ですね。なるほど。過去の使用人たちがいろいろと騒ぎたくなる気持ちもわかるものです。
He could understand that if someone doing the rounds on an eerie night like this saw a lace curtain waving in the breeze from a window which hadn't been closed, They might be tempted to believe they'd seen a ghost.
肖像画の魔女をバカにするとたたりがあるか。大怪我をして辞めた使用人もいるらしいし、怪我は勘弁だな。俺もこの年だ。二度とこんな厚遇の職場には恵まれねえだろうよ。ああ、肖像画の魔女様、真面目に働きますんで、一つ穏便に頼みます。
Oh, how cruel knowing what's coming to him. Goda prayed to the portrait, his hands together as though he was at a Shinto shrine. Ooh, spooky. At that time, he thought he heard a sound. The kitchen? Was that the sound of something metal falling on the floor? Surely a mouse or a cockroach hadn't come out and knocked over some of the dishes. No, how could that be? It was routinely and thoroughly cleaned. Goda thought that in any case he'd better check what that noise had been and entered the kitchen. He turned on the kitchen light. When he did, he heard a strange sound. Clank, 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 clank. To a cook like Goda, that sound seemed like the lid on a pressure cooker or something was shaking. Of course, it couldn't be in use when no one was in the kitchen. If someone had been using the gas, what a dangerous thing to do to just walk away from it. Just in case, Goda decided to inspect the area around the gas range. When he did, in the corner by the gas range, the pressure cooker really had been placed there, just as he had thought. But the flame wasn't on, and yet the lid was clanking. Was something fermenting and leaking gas? How could that be? Then, was there a mouse or something inside? How could there be? Ridiculous. In front of people, Goda acted as though he had a bold personality fitting for his build, but he actually had an unexpectedly timid side to him. He was terrified to find out what might be inside, and he couldn't check it carelessly. Is he going to go get Kumasawa to check it out? In his cowardice, he grabbed a nearby wooden pestle, and with a clunk, he tapped it a little strongly against the side of the pressure cooker. When he did, the clanking sound suddenly stopped. He should have been relieved now that it had stopped, but the fact it had stopped when he had hit it was even more eerie, and made him even more suspicious about what was inside.
この世に怪奇現象なんて存在しませんとも。そんな魔女も魔法もそんなもの存在するわけがない。すべての現象は科学的に説明できるんです。お化けも魔女もいてたまるもんですか。
He repeated that many times, trying to build up his own confidence. It was quite comical how he looked completely different from what he was saying.
何が魔女だ。何が魔法だ。たたりだ。そら。
He removed the lid of the pressure cooker, and lying exposed there was the sparkling clean silver bottom of the pot. There was absolutely nothing frightening like he had imagined.
そりゃ当然です。中に何もいるわけがない。
By now, Goda realized he had been a coward. So while he still had some doubts about what had caused the lid to make that sound, he explained it away abstractly as to some quirk of positioning or something, and decided not to worry about it too much. Then he took the lid he had grabbed and softly set it back down where it had been. It's all right, there won't be a sound. Obviously. As if witches or magic could exist. Clank. Clank, clank, clank. Clank, 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 clank. Clank, 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 clank. Ooh, this music is so, well, it's dreadful, right? That's the name. All the pots and utensils in the kitchen started clanking at once, and it grew stronger still, until finally, it became so strong, the lid to one of the pots fell off. And from the inside that pot, a slender white arm slowly stretched out. The lid fell off another pot, and another hand slowly stretched out. Oh, and another, and another. When the number of arms grew to 7, a loud, shrill laughter split the air.
がっかり。これほどの美味しいお料理を作 作れる人がこんな小物なんて本当にがっかり。
あんたいらないんなら私がもらうわ。いっただき。ちょっとダメだってば。私がもらうんだから。
Well, that was quick. I thought they'd play around with him a little bit more. Come on, let's search. There's only one more. But Beatrice did say to be, you know, snappy about it. That old hag. Where is she? Not the mansion. Maybe the guest house? You snooze, you lose, right? You snooze, you lose, right? Come on, search, search. Find her, find her. Maybe Kumasawa knows of an area that nobody else in the mansion knows about, and she just goes there to sleep. Don't get noticed by the relatives in the dining hall. Don't get noticed by the kids in the guest house. Search in silence. Kill in silence. After all, it's still just the first twilight. She isn't in the guest house, but she wasn't in the mansion either. Hey, I found her, I found her. She's in the rose garden. Why is she standing around there without an umbrella? She's given herself up. All mine, all mine, all mine. You slowpokes can just sit there and watch. I told you no, this one's mine. Come on, if we take any longer, we'll be scolded by Beatrice-sama. Let's take care of it all at once. It is kind of strange she's out in, like, a tsunami, basically, by herself without an umbrella. Come on, found her, surround her. Come on, let's get along and do it all at once, okay? Die. Wait, what? Wait, what? What is... Does she have... What is going on here? What? What? The... Did she disappear? Oh, no. Oh my goodness. What?
やんちゃなお嬢さんたちだこと。
Wow, Kumasawa.
あの子のお友達かしら。
The child.
何こいつ。ババアのくせに。何かの間違いよ。
I am so confused right now.
もう一度。
What if Kumasawa's the strongest of them all? Oh my goodness. Wow. So all that stuff about her being all scared was an act?
こいつどうして私たちを防げるの？
She was all scared about, like, everything that happened, all the thing about witches, but...
どいて。もう一度よ。
When she says, are you friends with the little girl? She's not talking about Maria, is she?
何度やっても無駄だ。この個人できる。
Wow. She is?
私はあの子を待っているのです。どうか呼んできてはくれませんか？
そのようなデッチ暴行、私たちがすると思う？
The fact that the seven sisters were like, she's too strong. I'm just like, how strong
そ
is
の
he?
必要はない。
Wow. All right, Beatrice, please explain what's going on.
ベアトリーチェ様。
私が権限するほどでございます。必ずやお目覚めと思いました。
ロノウェイ。
What is
久し
going
ぶり
on?
ですね。
The heck?
本当に久しぶりです。
こいつロノウェ様を呼びつけに。
そしてあなたもお久しぶりですね、ベアトリーチェ。
こいつベアトリーチェ様までも呼びつけに。
よい。そのお方をどなたと心
No.
得る？
Who is this? Who is Kumasawa, really?
ベアトリーチェとは。
Oh, shit.
そもそもそのお方の。
What? What?
わらわはそれを受け継いだに過ぎぬ。
Wait, Kumasawa's a witch? She's like the original timeless witch or endless witch?
そのお方こそは。
Wow.
仙台ベアトリーチェ教だ。
What the fuck? I can't. So Kumasawa, but then she ended up dying anyway during, or at least we assume she died during all these other chapters. I'm gonna keep saying about how confused I am right now. So was this Kumasawa, is she different from like... So, wait, okay. So, how would she be killed then? How would she be killed by Beatrice unless she did it on purpose? Has she been working with Beatrice to like kill people this whole time? Gold butterflies appeared in ones and twos from the Garden of Roses and began to gather around Kumasawa. And after becoming a golden radiance and enveloping her, they burst and disappeared, and Kumasawa's form was no longer there. Oh my gosh. What the hell? Oh my goodness. Wow. Instead, there was another golden witch, the one who had in the past explained to Beatrice the path of an endless witch. The only person Beatrice had called master in her entire life. Her hair was long, beautiful, and vividly youthful, and her figure in that elegant dress was unrecognizable as an old lady. Wow. No, this looked like a completely different person than Kumasawa.
これはお師匠様。再びお会いできる日が訪れるとは夢にも思いませんでした。
ええ、私もですよ。
Please, game, please. Help me.
よもやまた眠りを妨げられるとは夢にも思いませんでした。
Is it... Okay, I'm like, it's not a similar situation where the Beatrice, when she was in that human vessel, she didn't know she was a witch. Kumasawa clearly knows who she is.
まったく厄介なところでお目覚めになられる。いつもの通りお休みであられたなら、第一の晩を何も手こずることなく終えられるのに。いや、むしろ歓迎すべきですかな。少々退屈
So
しておりましたこと。
Kumasawa is like her human vessel, I suppose?
相変わらず悪趣味な遊びで罪もない人々をもてあそんでいるようです、ね。
Okay, so Beatrice knew that her master lived in Kumasawa's body, but she never woke. And this is why it's the first time we're seeing her, and that's why she said it's inconvenient that you woke before the first twilight. You think that if that was the case, if she was trying to kill Kumasawa, wouldn't she just do it the first twilight every time before her master woke up if it's a bad thing?
無限の魔女の力は決して人に迷惑をか
I
け
don't
ることに
understand.
使ってはならないと何度も教えたはずですよ。
そう言うなよ、お師匠様。
But why would she want to kill her master?
退屈は私たちの天敵じゃありませんか。
If she kills Kumasawa, the body, if Kumasawa's body is the vessel, then the elder Beatrice wouldn't actually die. She would just be freed from the body, I would assume.
それから逃れるためのちょっとしたスパイスに過ぎませんよ。侵食が進めば進むほどにわらわの力は強くなり、わらわの眷属は呼び出しやすくなる。しかしそれは同時にお師匠様の封印を解くことにもつながったとはな。
Okay. So the thing is, with each reset of this game, does Beatrice get stronger each time? And that's why this one hasn't shown up until now, is because Beatrice had to get to a certain level of like power in order to release the seal?
それを予見していたからこそ私はこうしてあなたのすぐ近くで眠りについたのですよ。願わくば二度と起こされぬことを夢見ながら、こうしてあなたと再会してしまったのは私にとってはとても悲しいことです。
相変わらずお師匠
炉の上、家具の子たちを下げなさい。家具は主に仕えるだけです。すべての罪は主が背負います。
かしこまりました、マダム・ベアトリーチェ。
その名はもうその子に譲りました。
Okay. That's why I was so confused about the child. When I think child, I think of Maria. We barely even seen Maria in this chapter. But yeah, it's Beatrice would be the child, obviously.
下がりなさい、家具の娘たち。私は一度聞かぬとしても二度言います。しかし三度目は口にしませんよ。
下がりなさい、煉獄の七姉妹。巻き添いになれば塵と化しますよ。
下がれみんな。
Ronave and the seven sisters of Purgatory retreated. After that, there was Beatrice, whose bold expression didn't falter, and the master Beatrice, who had given up that name and wore a composed smile.
さて、お師匠様、久しぶりの再会にはどんなお茶のご用意が良いかな。
そうですね。ほうき星の訪れよりも久しい再会です。もてなしてもらいましょうか。粗相があるようならば、我が名と無限の魔女の称号返してもらいますよ。
無限の魔女にも免許更新制度があったとはな。仰せのままにあなたの弟子がどれほど立派になったか、そしてとっくの昔にどれほどあなたを凌駕したか、とくとご覧に入れましょう。
It looked like sparks exploded in the air between the two Beatrices. Oh my god, are we gonna have a fight? We are gonna have a fight between the two of them. Damn! Just by glaring at each other, they purged all spirits from that space. As they watched, the seven sisters shivered. Because if they had retreated just 3 steps less than they had, they would have already been turned to dust by now.
さあ、いらっしゃい、ベアトリーチェ。あなたにその名を譲ったことが私の生涯でただ一度の後悔です。その過ちを今自らの手で修正しましょう。
What the fuck? First we had Kanon and Kanon and Shannon versus the sisters, and now we've got a witch on witch battle here.
そりゃあ違うぜ、お師匠様。わらわのただ一度の過ちはこの程度の力を学ぶのにあんたに弟子入りしちまったことだぜ。何が魔法だ、何が無限の魔女だ。こんなの気づくだけの力じゃねえかよ。それをもったいぶって偉そうによ。お前の出番はとっくに終わってんだよ。
Or she regrets being an endless witch because she's like, well, it's endless and you get bored, and she obviously gave up something. Maybe love in order to become a witch, and she regrets it, and that's why she gets so pissed off by Shannon. How crazy would it be if Beatrice just died right here? And it's like, and that's the end. Yeah, same. Poor Battler. He just can't. Just like me, it's just like you start to think you can grasp something, and then something else happens that's even crazier.
一体目の前で何が起こってんだ。
かわいそう。私の弟子が迷惑をかけていますね。謝ります。
あんた何者なんだ。熊沢のばあちゃんがどうしてこんな姉ちゃんに化けるんだ。つうかあんた誰だよ。わけがわからねえ。これは何の特撮なんだ。俺は頭がどうにかなっちまいそうだ。
私はあの子の魔女の師匠です。かつての名はベアトリーチェ。あの子が私を継ぐ時にその名を送ったため今は名を持ちません。
あんたがすでに言い切っちまってるが、俺はあんたの弟子のせいで大いに迷惑しているぜ。頼むから責任取って何とかしてくれ。じゃなくて俺はこんなの信じねえぞ。魔女も魔法もあるもんか。こんなめちゃくちゃバトル俺は認めねえぞ。くそったれ。俺は何を信じりゃいいんだ。
あなたらしいとても短気なもてなしですね。
さすがお師匠様。この程度じゃバカバカしくてまぶたを開く気にもならないらしい。島ごとぶっ壊す気でなきゃ無理らしいぜ。さあさあおいでなさい。
Wait, what
刀
now?
剣の戦闘。
Is she gonna destroy the whole island? Quickest chapter ever. What the fuck? In response to Beatrice's summons, a terrific earth tremor split the rose garden, and on either side of her shoulders, two massive war towers sprouted and stabbed into the heavens. They stretched 100 meter roots tall, and each had over 360 ports. Okay, let's look up. It's been a while since I've had to go into the tips section here. This word is probably related to a fictional unit of length from Nausicaa of the Valley of Wind, which seems to be 1 meter long. So, can the humans see this going on right now? They were war towers of the gods' army corps, which did not allow the heroes of antiquity to invade their precincts, even as they banded together. As Beatrice elegantly floated in the gap between the massive two-headed towers, she looked down on her master, sneering with an absolute superiority. The two massive towers lined up behind her shoulders. The witch looked very small, like a butterfly dancing between large trees.
蝶に化ければ買わせるとか思うなよ。双子塔の弾幕密度じゃあんた虫ピンの昆虫標本どころかめった刺しの針刺し人形だぜ。
The towers, more than 720 ports opened, and godly soldiers readied their multi-shot ballistas. What the fuck? Wow, she's got even more power than I thought. Well, she said she keeps getting stronger and stronger, so...
それであなたの手番は終了ですか？
It's like they're doing a turn-based RPG or something.
それが遺言かよ。ぶっ放せ！
Ballista shots numbering easily over 1,000 were all fired at once, drawing a beautiful geometric curtain of death. The boor sound performed by those bowstrings were probably even deeper than the sound of death swinging his scythe.
さあさあおいでなさい。墜落せし塔よ。いちなる言語をはぜ、その罪を知らしめよ。
The sky was stained in incandescent red, and from between the clouds, a blazing massive tower fell upside down. At some point, you just kind of have to sit back and just, like, accept what's going on right now and try not to question it. Just enjoy it. That massive falling tower and its rubble swallowed the thousands of ballista shots, so that not one of them could approach the body of the witch who had summoned it. Yes, none can approach the mysteries of heaven. That was the truth of the fallen tower.
さすがお師匠様。いちいちやることがでけえや。
私の手番は終わりませんよ。さあさあおいでなさい。イバルディの息子たち。
Once again, can people see this? What if the episode just ended with just the whole, like, island just being sunk into the water before, like, the first Twilight's even over?
我にふさわしき槍を与えたまえ。
As the massive crimson tower that had fallen made a mighty gold-colored explosion. From inside those flames, a spear showed itself, of such massive proportions that you had to look up to see all of it, much like a tower. It was too large for even a giant's hand. It was a divinely beautiful spear of the gods, so massive it gave the illusion that the tower which had fallen had turned into a spear of the same size. A spear of certain victory that no one could escape.
無用の双子塔ですね。自ら左右の退路を断つとは愚かしい。一本の槍をもお前は防げない。
When she snapped her fingers in command, the massive tower-like spear shot at Beatrice like a lightning bolt. As the Golden Witch danced in the gap between the towers like a butterfly, it sliced straight through the air like a flash of lightning, aiming right for the very middle of the absolute center of her heart with the most ultimate and extreme precision.
こ こんなところでグングニルが弾けるとは。やっぱりお師匠様はすげえな。ハゼロ、役立たずの塔、いでよ巨人兵の戦列よ。その盾と胸で神なる槍を防ぎきれ。
This is insane. It really is like a turn-based RPG right now. The shoulder war towers exploded in gold. They became several billion gold butterflies. Those butterflies took the shape of 7 massive armored shoulders. Each stretched a full 50 mirite into the sky, and they lined up in front of Beatrice, protecting their master and holding massive shields which towered like windmills. This is insane. Their massive size was evocative of a mountain range. The witch hiding behind them was like a small moon hiding behind the mountains. Once in the past, when the massive shields these giants held had been readied by the whole giants' regiment, they had protected King Wilhelm's castle not only from arrows, from the wind and the rain, and when they had faced upwards and held their shields to the heavens, not a single raindrop had gotten through.
愚かな神聖への敬いを忘れた魔女の哀れなことです。神の槍を巨人ごときで防げるとお思いですか。
道理ですね。人間の金属でいくら武装しようとも神の槍は防げません。マダムの見事なエポレットメイトです。
そんなベアトリーチェ様。
もちろん忘れませんともお師匠様。さあさあおいでなさい、ヘパイストスと弟子たち。我にふさわしき盾を与えたまえ。
A golden whirlwind arose at the feet of the giant soldiers. It was a group of countless butterflies. They attached themselves to the massive shields like gold leaf, sparkling like they were a gold mirror. That was the absolute defensive wall that the king of the gods gave to the goddess, the Aegis shield. Oh shit. When the holy spear, which left a dignified tail behind it like a comet, crashed into the mountain range of that gold shield, there was a terrible thunderous roar. It was the creaking of the pillars that held up the heavens. The divine spear spun around and around, sent flying in the direction the sun sets.
ありえない。真相を防いだ。
いいえ、違います。神なる槍が避けたのです。絶対の槍と絶対の盾は争ってはいけないのが
So it's just gonna be at a...
神の掟。
It's just gonna be like the... It's gonna be at a standstill then if they can't attack each other.
それはつまり防いだのと同じことですがね。
このような荒事ばかり腕を上げましたね。むしろお師匠様はこういうお遊びが相変わらず苦手なようで。わらわからのお返しだ。法典にのっとり、槍には槍でお返ししましょうぞ。
The giant soldier battle line, which had fully blocked the divine spear, released their holy gold shields. The shields fell to the earth, making the ground shake. And then another gold whirlwind arose, and the 7 gold shields changed their form into 7 massive spears of lightning lying on the ground. In unison, each of the giants lifted a leg high and firmly stomped on the tips of the handles. As the earth shook with a thunderous sound, the 7 lightning spears spun beautifully and flew up against the giant soldiers' heads. They covered everything in a spray of gold as they began to fall before the giants. Each of the giants squared off, and with the force of their whole body, they kicked and smashed them into pieces. Those broken pieces numbered exactly 30 each, and became lightning spears of exactly the same size as the original, which made 210 for all 7 of them, and all of those burst at once, each splitting into 30 thorns, so there were 6,300. They became a thundercloud barrage drawing out a beautiful geometric pattern, and then each of those changed back into 3 bolts of lightning, so that 18,900 thunderbolts shot for the predecessor Beatrice.
さ
Wow.
りますね、マダムは。
Certainly, a bundle of almost 20,000 thunderbolts should have reduced the master's body to dust. It's like they're both just going Super Saiyan, and they're like, oh, that's cute. I'll just do something even better. There was no impact. Beatrice knew immediately that she had been fooled. At that moment, from the direction the sun was supposed to set, she felt an impossible rain of sunlight. A brilliant ray of light shone on her profile. It was the figure of the master, holding aloft the spear of the gods that had supposedly been repelled a short while ago. She bore a brilliant radiance like the sun on her back, and made it shine on the incarnation of darkness. Beatrice, watching from there, was trapped like a mouse in a cage, cornered in a dead end formed by the giant soldier battle line. By now, her predecessor Beatrice had seized a position directly alongside the giant soldier battle line.
これでお遊戯の時間はおしまいですよ、ベアトリッチ。
このわらわが側面を許しただと。
Her bold expression hadn't faltered once before now, but now it twisted for the first time. And faster than Beatrice could click her tongue, the predecessor Beatrice released the Holy Spirit. Is she gonna kill her right now? What's gonna happen? In midair, it sprung up into the air once more and changed its form once again.
さあさあおいでなさい、ドベルグの兄弟たち。我に巨人を砕きし天の鉄槌を与えたまえ。巨人兵ども、わらわを守れ。何をしているか、ノロマども。
It's funny, I say it's like they're going Super Saiyan. It's more like they have different summons. It's like they're like Final Fantasy, but her mentor has stronger summons than she does. By now, it was no longer a spear, but the whirlwind of a massive hammer that raised a sound like a windstorm as it flew through the air. It was the legendary hammer that had shaken the king of the frost giants. So the giant soldiers couldn't escape from that fear. So no matter how much their master ordered them, they couldn't block the path of that hammer.
バックランクメイト、安らかに眠りなさい。しょー。
Before the whirlwind of this massive chunk of metal, Beatrice was nothing more than a mere speck. The instant the whirlwind started to suck Beatrice in, Beatrice's form turned into a massive war tower. The iron hammer smashed the war tower, scattered tremendous amounts of rubble, but it did not reach she who had escaped behind it. Furthermore, when the smoke started to settle, the war tower had sucked in the massive iron hammer without crumbling and blocked the way. Even the smashing giant iron hammer couldn't break through the final tower protecting the witch. However, this war tower was in fact the witch's last trump card. It was a war tower for dodging that could only save her from danger once. But this tower was impenetrable. Impregnable? No weapon could break through it. Just then, the moon disappeared. As Beatrice hid in the shadows of the giant soldier battle line and the war tower, she looked up at the sky. What? What? That's like, from Persona. Is it... Who is that? That's not Odin, is it? The guy on the horse? When she did, inside the moon was a figure of a massive horse ridden by the god of war and death. The predecessor Beatrice rode the horse with him. His cloak had blocked the moon and swallowed it in an eerie shadow, and the spear of the gods was in his hand once more. It was, in other words, a godly knight who jumped over the ramparts formed by the giant soldiers in the war tower, attacking from the heavens. Oh, it's bothering me. What the guy on the horse, the guy at the horse from Persona, what is that summon's name? I can't remember.
やられた。
スマザードメイト、楽しかったですよ、ベアトリーチェ。
The struggle to the death between the two witches with the same name was resolved. Wow. The giant soldier battle line and the war tower split up into countless gold butterflies, shrouding the area in a golden storm. Then the sound of thunder. and the sound of falling rain and wind. So now we're just back to normal again. Suddenly, that place was the empty rose garden once more. Butler and the rest were watching the two witches confronting each other. But only Beatrice was different. She had been pierced straight through the spear from the base of her neck and her right shoulder to her left buttock. Is that... like, what? So, she's dead? Unable to even reach the ground with her feet. Horribly exposed like a pitiful pinned butterfly. Tormented by the wind and rain. What is gonna happen from here?
ベアトリーチェ様。
さすが恐ろしいお方です。
これで決着です。ベアトリーチェ。
It's just weird to see Beatrice actually feel pain and can be hurt. Wow, Beatrice wore a bitter smile of false courage, but a strand of blood dangled from her mouth, making her look even more pitiful, so she bleeds.
無限の魔女の称号と力、そしてベアトリーチェの名を今こそ返してもらいましょう。無限の魔女を語るにはお前は未熟が過ぎます。
やめて、許しておくれよ。もうちょっとふざけただけじゃねえかよ。
あなたから我が名を奪います。元の姿に戻してあげましょう。
Oh, okay.
過ぎたる力を手放
So
し、
she's gonna become a human again?
己にふさわしい生を全うするがよいでしょう。さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい。あなたがどんな
Oh,
姿
that's
を
what she
してい
said
た
at
の
the
か。
beginning with the vase. The predecessor of Beatrice began to recite the words of power. When she did, small gold butterflies gathered around the skewered Beatrice and began to swarm about her. What? This is happening so early on. During, like, the twilights. She's just not gonna be the witch anymore? Like butterflies sucking the nectar out of flowers. They began to suck the magical power out of Beatrice, and it seemed that that caused her immense pain. A cry of agony escaped from Beatrice's mouth. She no longer had any power to resist it.
さあさあ、目を閉じてごらんなさい。思い出してごらんなさい。あなたがどんな姿をしていたのか。さあ、ベアトリーチェ、あなたも私と一緒に復唱なさい。一緒にお歌を歌いましょう。そうすればすぐに終わりますよ。あなたの苦痛が少しでも早く終わります。
そうだな。お師匠様と一緒にお歌を歌うなんてどれくらいぶりかな。
さあ、一緒に。さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい。あなたがどんな姿をしていたのか。
So Beatrice lost her powers. Is she not going to be in that other realm with Badler? And that's why this Beatrice, the original one, is the one talking to him right now.
さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい。あなたがどんな姿をしていたのか。
This is crazy. When the two of them began to recite the same chant, more and more gold butterflies danced around, swarming around Beatrice.
大丈夫ですよ、お嬢様。あなたは私の弟子であることを失いますが、私の仕えるお嬢様であることに変わりはありません。そうしたらまた一緒にご本を読んで差し上げましょう。リンゴのパイを焼いて差し上げましょう。昔のように。さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい。
ああ、思い出してごらんなさい。そろそろ思い出せてきたかな。なあ、お師匠様。あんたの後ろにあるそれ、思い出したかな。
Uh-oh. Oh, shit. I was thinking, I was like, she's It feels like she's giving up too soon. I thought she would, you know, like fight her to the last. Oh, it's not over yet. It's not over. Oh shit. When the predecessor Beatrice looked behind her, there was a creepy hedgehog crouching there. Oh shit, no. It was herself. There was another predecessor Beatrice, whose whole body was packed with ballista shots, lying there like a pincushion doll. Oh shit. Oh no, it's... Oh, wow, the tables have turned.
違うか。さあさあ思い出してごらんなさい。あなたがどうやって殺されたのか。
The predecessor Beatrice was shocked. Instantly, her form began to grow faint. Well, so much for that.
これはいつの間に。最初に呼んだのは双剣の塔ではない。四つ子の塔だったのよ。お師匠様の左右はるかに潜んだ隠し塔が描くセブンスランクルークの死の境界線を。お師匠様はのこのこと踏み越えてきてくれた。チェックの発生が遅れてしまったことだけはマナー違反。率直に謝ろうぞ。
The battle had been decided at the very beginning. It had been over since the time the predecessor had leaned forward, readying her holy spear to attack Beatrice, who had been wedged between her shoulder towers. Wow. The hidden towers lurking on either side had bathed her in a windstorm of ballista shots from 720 ports on both sides, pinning and killing her. However, Beatrice hadn't wanted it to be resolved with that. She had wanted to make her master take her next move, and it continued acting as though the game was still on. It's like, Lambda Delta said, you know, it's like she plays around with her opponent, makes them think that they have a chance of winning, when she knew all along she was going to win. She had immediately revived her with endless power, and had made her continue the game as though nothing had happened, just like she does with Battler and everybody, reviving them so she can continue the game again. Wow. Then the predecessor slowly remembered she had already been killed and began to completely erase her form. When she did, the spear which had pierced Beatrice also erased itself. Beatrice finally fell and landed on her feet. There wasn't even a trace of a scar.
楽しかったぞ。お師匠様。また遊びたくなったらいつでも蘇らせてやるよ。それで適当に遊んだら死体だったことをまた思い出させてやるからさ。なあ、ちゃんとあんたの言いつけは守ってるぜ。おもちゃは遊び終わったらちゃんとおもちゃ箱にしまいましょうってな。
楽勝でございますかな。
愚か、心象だ。四つ子島で騙せてなかったら死んでおったのはわらわの方よ。さすがはお師匠様だが、これで胸が張れるというもの。わらわは今こそお師匠様を完全に超えたとな。ロノウェ、お師匠様の亡骸をもう少しマシにしておけ。わらわもそこまで敬意を失ってはおらぬでな。
かしこまりました。今宵の第一の晩は少々派手に暴れすぎました。少しは片付けも必要でしょう。すぐに取り掛かります。ヤギたちよ、お片付けの時間ですよ。
When Ronove snapped his fingers, blazing, sparkling eyes began to blink open in the shadows and darkness, becoming goat-headed attendants which appeared one after another slowly out of the black. One by one, they lined up behind Ronove's back, wordlessly standing at attention.
この度は6人の遺体をどのようにいたしますか。また密室形式。
Is she ever gonna tire of the locked rooms? That's kind of her thing.
それを考える気分にない。どの上に任す？
Come on, Ronove, let's do something a little bit different, eh?
バトラーを悩ませるよ。
Ah, okay.
とびっきりの密室を頼む。
It's always going to be locked rooms.
かしこまりました。それではとびきりの
それ、バトラはどこだ？バトラー、わらわの大活躍見た？
Battler probably saw that other Beatrice's only hope to be able to stop this, and now she's gone. I wonder if she can be revived somehow and will be the only one to be able to stop Beatrice, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's going to be Battler and the family once they solve the riddle. Then it's over, right?
くしょー、今のめちゃくちゃな魔法の嵐を見せつけられて、俺は何を否定すればいいんだ。
It's getting harder and harder for me to deny it as well.
魔女はいるも何も、あんなドッカンドッカン凄まじいファンタジーを見せつけられて、今の俺は何を否定すりゃいいんだよ。もうわかんねえ。前回もそうだが、このイーカス的なマジカルバトルをどう否定すりゃいいんだよ。
だよなこんなの見ちまったらもう言い逃れはできねえもんな。さあバトラー、とんでも推理を聞かせてくれよ。
お嬢様、笑いに品がございませんよ。
おお、これはすまぬ。しかしわらわの責任ではないぞ。何しろバトラにキューッと両目を固く閉じてキリキリギリギリ歯ぎしりするなんとも悔しそうなその表情を見せられると、自然とわらわの口からこぼれてしまうものでな。
さあバトラ様、くじけずにテーブルへお戻りを。お嬢様はバトラ様の反撃を期待されておりますよ。
ふざけるな。何をどう反論すりゃいいってんだ。まずあの塔が地面から生えてきたあたりからもうめちゃくちゃだろうが、実は六軒島の地下に合体変形巨大ロボの秘密研究所でもあって、ボタン一つでおかしな塔が生えてくるってのか。なあ、それならあのでけえ巨人どもはきっとロボットだぜ。あるいは悪の秘密結社のメカ怪獣かもな。わけわかんねえよ。俺に話しかけるんじゃねえ。
Aw, poor Battler. His brain is officially broken.
ほらほらほらほら、泣くなよ。魔法でドッカンドッカン。そなたが望むなら月だって砕くし、水星を雨のようにだって降らすさ。お前好みのムチムチ姉ちゃんで島を埋め尽くしてやってもいいんだぜ。さあさあ、ほらほらほら、わらわの出番は終わったぜ。受け手をさせよ、反撃しろよ。できねえだろ。できねえのは船長も承知よ。お前こういうのダメだもんな。こういうファンタジー本当は大好きなんだもんな。知ってんだよ。今時こんなの巷にいくらでも溢れてるじゃねえか。漫画に小説、アニメに映画。10代くらいのガキンチョたちがおかしな特殊能力いっぱい持ってて、世界の命運かけてドッカンバッカンやるやつ。お前も大好きだもんな。知ってんだよ。隠すなよ。大好きじゃねえかよ。
She is having way too much fun right now.
そのお前の大好きなやつがちょいと目の前で披露されただけじゃねえかよ。どうして漫画やアニメのそれは信じてくれるのに、わらわのだけ信じてくれねえんだよ。信じろよ、 信じろよ、信じちまえよ。反論なんかできねえさ。こうして見せられちまったんだからな。ほらほらほらほら、返事をしろよ。思考はいらねえ。素直にごめんなさいベアトリーチェ様って言えばいいんだよ。ほらほら言ってみろ。ごめんなさいベアトリーチェ様って言ってみろよ。言えよ言えよ、恥ずかしがるなよ。
I feel like this is the most fun I've ever seen him have at this so far. Alright, so I think that was one of the craziest episodes yet. Between, you know, the whole thing with Kanon and the Seven Sisters, although that wasn't too crazy. We already knew about those powers, but the whole thing with, like, Kumasawa is actually the old Beatrice, and they had, like, a magical power duel, and then the old Beatrice lost, and, like, what? It's just getting so much more fantastical all the time. And I know this is supposed to be the chapter they say is like super easy difficulty, but unless they start explaining things more towards the end and putting things plainly, it's just getting more fantastical and it's getting even harder for me to figure out what's going on right now. Unless the thing that they want to tell us is that witches actually exist and magic exists, because it's kind of hard to deny it, like with Badler saying it's hard for him to deny everything. But yeah, this was one of the more interesting episodes, I'd have to say. Confusing as it was, but it's a lot of things I wasn't expecting to see, so I enjoyed it, and I hope you guys did as well. And I will catch you next week for the grand reveal of the bodies and what Ronove did with them. So until then, I will see you guys next time. Bye. Special thanks to my top-tier patrons: Nana, Sparky, Derek Nickel, Harry Gazif, Asborn Kennedy, and iCognito.